facing head-on the emotions beneath the surface as we bridge from an old world of confusion and lack to a beautiful new world of freedom, abundance, and love with straightforward truth and inspired hope is what you'll find on The Charla Anderson Show. Collector and connector of fascinating people. And everyone is fascinating. Here's your host, Charla Anderson.
Good, beautiful day, you beautiful, beautiful souls. This is Charla Anderson, host of the Charla Anderson Show, collector and connector of fascinating people, and everyone is fascinating, especially you. So grateful that you would take your time to join us and listen in, and now we're on the replays and be a part of this encouragement, this overcoming, this hope that we're trying to get out into the world with the win-win-win platform and the streaming services, podcasts with Podetize, so many places that we're going to be out and about. And I cannot wait to introduce you to my guest today, one of my longest time Fort Worth friends, and Dr. Cassandra Bradford. But first, we're going to do our little 22-second mini vacation. We're going to take a deep breath. We're going to breathe in calm. We're going to hold it for 4 seconds, and then we're going to breathe out gratitude for 11 seconds. And so that helps us get started, get grounded and settled in here. So here, let's take a 7-second breath in with calm. Here we go. Hold. Release. Breathe out gratitude. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for joining me and calming down. It helps me get centered. It should help you. And it's a small mini vacation multiple times a day. We might need that with all the techie devices and things we've got going. So I just encourage us to do that. So every so often throughout our day, just get grounded. So today I'm super excited to get to share one of my dearest friends from many years ago, when I guess Dr. Cassandra were you a doctor at that time back in 20? Okay, well, we met in 2008, I believe it was. 2000. No, it was before that, perhaps, because I retired in 2007. 2006 or 7 when I was just starting to learn about networking, and we connected and just became fast friends. We've done all kinds of things together. Hadn't seen each other in a long time now, but you actually got my LLC put together back in the day. So Dr. Cassandra is like this amazing women and minority-owned business extraordinaire. I mean, that's what you are. So what I'm going to suggest to you what I'm going to ask you to do is just introduce yourself. Who are you in this world? And then we'll talk about what you do.
Hello, everyone. I am Dr. Cassandra Bradford. I am a woman of God. I am a daughter. I'm a mother, and I'm a friend. And so I have been blessed to have a vision to start a business, which I started over 22 years ago, which is how I met you, Charla. And I'm forever grateful that God saw fit that I could fulfill a vision. And so it's been 22 years that I've had my business and the conference, the Run conference that I have, and it's all about entrepreneurship and growing small business globally and exponentially. So I am honored to be on your show.
Well, I'm so grateful that you took the time and took out of your crazy busy life. I know you're always traveling. You know, who would have thought? Here we are, little one-man shows back in that day, and you've got a whole staff. You travel. You're really making a difference in that community, and that it's a niche that is so needed. And what does that look like on a daily basis for you?
Well, it's fun. I absolutely love what I do. I can get up and do this every single day and forget that I'm in business, because I can talk about all the opportunities that are available to minority and women. And if you would have told me that I was going to be doing this 40 years ago, working with women, I would have told you, you got the wrong girl. I can't do that. I'm in a male-dominated industry. Will never happen. And here I am. I mean, I remember I got a pastor told me that she had a prophecy for me, and really was a confirmation. And I think this was back in 1995 or 94. And she told me all about, I was going to be speaking to women on a large stage, and I was going to be working with women and small businesses. And I'm like, girl, please, I'm just trying to get promoted at work. And prophecy come true, or confirmation, because God had already spoken to me. And I just put it on the shelf. You put it on the shelf. And here I am today, and I absolutely love what I do. I pray that God sees fit that I'm doing a good job, that this is never taken from me. So I love what I do.
Well, and you're serving, you become an expert, and it's a complicated field. I mean, it's just complicated. It's complicated to do anything with the government. I'm just, let's just be straight, right?
It's a lot of paper, a lot of. I believe, Charla, I'm safe to say that the government doesn't like trees, because it's a lot of paperwork when it comes to certifications and getting contracts with the government. There's a lot of reading involved, a lot of contractual language, so. But I love it. It's a niche for me, and I've grown into it, and I've become a lobbyist for it, and I was a chamber president for it, and I get to be, I'm a delegate for the state of Texas. So I absolutely love it.
Well, that's amazing. So can you, what does it really mean so we have the MWBE. So what does it mean, and what does it, who needs it? Where do we start with that?
So there's a lot of alphabets. So you have so in Texas, we have 5 certifications, Texas and North Carolina. Most states only have 3 or 4. So minority-owned business or minority business enterprise, woman business enterprise, small business enterprise, disadvantaged business enterprise, and historically underutilized business. So that's a mouthful. So those are 5 certifications that we have in Texas and North Carolina. But what it does is it puts us in a position where we can bid on contracts and win. So back in 1981, President Reagan signed an executive order for veterans who have come back from service overseas, or have matriculated through the military, and they're exiting with their DD-214, can find opportunities if they've started their own business. So the executive order said that the government has to set aside 40% of all of their business with veterans. Well, right after that, in 1989, the law changed that included women and then minorities. And so we're grateful that we have those opportunities, because as you know, being a woman in a male-dominated industry, or being a woman in the United States wasn't the same, or isn't the same as it was back in the 1960s, 70s, or even 80s. I mean, you look at where we are now, and people think that women have arrived on this magic carpet, and it's not. Though women are starting more businesses than men, right? And even women of color are starting the most. We still are not paid the same pay as our male counterparts. So that hasn't changed. But we still have the opportunity to bid on opportunities with the largest customer in the world, which is the United States government, right? And grow our business. And when I say the government, I have to include public transportation. I have to include Fortune 500 companies like Pepsi and Walmart and Coca-Cola and Starbucks and anything Warren Buffett owns, and BNSF Railway, and I could keep going on and on. But now we have so many companies that are mandated to doing business and reaching that 40% threshold that is marvelous now for women and minorities and veterans to gain traction in the economy. So it's a good place.
So who are you looking for? What is, I mean, obviously women and minorities and veterans, but in what capacity? I mean, am I eligible? What does that
You
look
are.
like?
You were born a woman, and we can prove it with your birth certificate. You're born a minority, and you can prove it with your birth certificate or a U.S. resident card. And you operate the business at least 51% or more of the time, and you own at least 51% or more. Those are your first qualifiers, right? And then everything else is just proof of documentation. And so the government buys everything. So there's nothing that you're selling that the government is not buying. I mean, they buy ice, they buy ink pens, a lot of t-shirts. They buy, because the kids have to look alike on when they go on field trips, and the basketball team and the hockey team and the team, they all got to have on the same t-shirt and the same uniform, right? DJs are hot right now. The world is back open, and there's music under the stars, and music in the park, and art day, and May Day, and Kids Day. And so if you're a DJ, I'm telling you, DJs are hot, because when I got ready to do my conference early in the year, my DJ had a 3-week or 2-week contract over in Saudi Arabia, Dubai, and Nigeria. And I'm thinking, oh, I'm so mad. I love you so much, right? I'm so excited for him. He's a veteran and he's a DJ, and he has this great opportunity to travel the world and get paid to do it. And he did it. And of course, I followed him all over social media because I'm proud of him as a client. And so they buy everything. They buy courses, legal services, attorney services. They buy insurance. They buy everything. They buy books, and they buy them in bulk. And so whatever you think that you're doing that is such a niche that the government will not buy it, think again, because they buy everything. I mean, just 2 weeks ago, I was looking for a contract for a client. I saw a 2-year contract for a cheerleading coach. I'm like, cheerleading coach? Wow. I was so excited. I put it all over social media. I'm like, y'all better bid on this. This is hot. I've never seen one. But they buy everything. They buy dental services, oil changes. Every city is self-insured up to a certain amount. They got police cars, they have fire trucks. And if you can do servicing and oil changes, I mean, that's out right now. Every school district in the state of Texas and other states, they replace their roofs every 3 years. You're in roofing. So there's opportunities for, I mean, everything. Public relations. I mean, if you can, event planners. I mean, I was just looking at something where they're looking to do someone to organize the parade for Martin Luther King holiday. And we have Kaboom Town in Addison. So that's out for bid right now. So it's a lot out, and we just have to make sure being certified is just your bus pass or your meal ticket into the room of opportunities. That's what it is. And you leave with that. I'm a certified minority-owned, woman-owned, right, disadvantaged business, and I am here to provide DJ services and sound and blah, blah, blah. And they'll say, oh, what's your name? Oh, that's not important, but it's Cassandra. They buy everything. They buy everything.
Do they buy encouragement? Because that's what I sell.
Well, they might. I mean, listen, you have folks that are, I mean, the Bureau of Prisons buy just about everything. And we sleep on the Bureau of Prisons, but I love them. We have women's prison, the Bureau of Prisons, which is federal. We have county jails that buy courses and classes where when they get out, they can change their life. And they can either start their own business, or they can learn a trade where they can get a good job so they can take care of their family and not go back into a life of crime if that's what they were incarcerated for. And or if they, let's say that they were struggling with dependency on drugs or alcohol. If you wrote a book, a self-help book with some religious overtones or undertones, the Bureau of Prisons Job Corps, they will buy that book in bulk if it's going to help someone to transition away from drugs or alcohol and lead a more healthier, happier life. I mean, it's about selling it to them. And so they're looking for it.
Well, how do you find all these opportunities? Is there like a website that has all thousands, millions of opportunities for the?
There are millions of websites, but I'll tell you the biggest one is sam.gov. We all should be on sam.gov, sam.gov. Sam.gov, when you get your Dun & Bradstreet number, you have to get there first. And if you're in business, you definitely want to get on there because you want to increase your paydex score. Our scores is not TransUnion, it's paydex. That's how we build our business credit. So you definitely want to be on sam.gov. But another caveat is that you get access to their large contracts. So let me be clear. They're not the little small bite-sized contracts that we bid on, maybe $1,000 or $50,000 or $100,000 with a three-year contract. These are normally larger contracts, and they're normally issued by federal entities. So they could be small, but they're issued by federal entities. And so you want to be on sam.gov, but you first have to have your Dun & Bradstreet and your cage code number. And you get that from Dun & Bradstreet. And so if you just want to look and see, hey, will the government or Fortune 500 company or school districts, so don't forget in public transportation, can they buy what I'm selling? And that is a good place to cast your net just to see. And then now you see, hey, wait a minute, those are huge. Those are $10 million, which means I'm going to need a lot of employees. Maybe I need to look at the little stuff, maybe under 100 grand with something I can manage, or I like low hanging fruit, anything under $25,000, because we're in Texas. We're in the largest state in the union. I look at it this way. There's 26 counties in North Texas where we live. And if I went to 26 county offices and asked for a $25,000 contract, that's $650,000. And I never had to bid. So opportunities are endless. Like right now, we're coming up on the end of the year. So they're looking for accountants or bookkeepers to issue out 1099s to all their subcontractors. So you think, how many subcontractors can the city of Fort Worth have? Tens of thousands.
Wow.
Tens of
I don't
thousands.
understand how they have any continuity, but that's another story. So, so to get those particular number, Dun & Bradstreet, all those kinds of things, is it simple, or is it
Well, you can go,
straightforward?
anybody can go on dnb.com, D in the letter N, B as in boy.com, and apply for your Dun & Bradstreet. You have to have a business because they're going to ask for your EIN number, right? Because we don't use Social Security numbers in business, we use EIN numbers. And so once you get your Dun & Bradstreet, your next registration is on sam.gov. Now, if you can't figure out sam.gov because they've changed since the pandemic, we have agencies that we use that we will refer you to, because I don't even like to do it. I mean, I did my own, I when it was called CC&R, that's how long ago. Oh God, that was back in the 99. But it's called sam.gov now. And even if you move, you have to make changes, right? And that's hard. If I'm thinking it's hard, and I've been in this game for a long time, it's hard. But there's services out there that can help you with that. And plus, you want to be, like I said, you wanted your Dun & Bradstreet number because that's how you build business credit, right? And then you want to be on sam.gov because now you're emailed bid opportunities. You don't have to look for them. They'll email them to you based on your NAICS code, NAICS code. You're just a number with the government. So it's your job description codes, right? So if I'm a consultant, there's a number for that. If I do, I don't know, legal prep, there's a code for that. I am a speaker, right? A facilitator. So there is a code for that. So I have 21 of them. So they will filter those opportunities based on your NAICS code, and they will email them to you. And now you have a whole inbox full of opportunities. It's up to you to decide, number one, do you have time to read them? Because they're about 200-300 pages long. And then number two, do you have the capacity to bid? You may do the scope of work, but it's the capacity, which means the scope of work plus requirements equal capacity.
It sounds really too big to me,
It's
for
not.
me, but so
like
is that what you do?
Yeah,
Is
but
that
think of it like this. So the government is a customer. That's all they are, with the ability to pay your invoice. So don't think of it as government. So I've created this little, I got a graphic artist to create this little person, this, I don't know, looks like a lizard
avatar?
monster app. It's ugly, right? And so I'm like, what if you can do business with her? And I even gave her a Facebook profile. And I'm like, does your customers have to be cute or handsome, or can they be ugly and stinky? They go, as long as they can pay me, I don't care. Ha ha ha. I have somebody. Her name is Govette. Can you do business with her? And I put up this picture and I got, oh, she's ugly. Ah. Well, she has money to pay your invoice. So you chop the government into bite-sized pieces. So the cities can be small, right? So you say, I want a small contract with the city, and you deal with the city. I think the easier contracts are our school districts. They are. And so I wouldn't go city, I would go school district. And so you go, okay, so I want a small contract with a school district. And even if it's too big for you, then I would team, not partner. Partner is when you're coming together to start a business, but you team with somebody else. So let's say, Charla, back in the old days when we were networking in Fort Worth, they had an access television channel through an organization called MLCC. So let's say they don't have the contract now, but we want to pitch to them that they should do that again, because it brought a lot of traction as to what was going on in Fort Worth, right? So we will submit a proposal. It's called an RFI, a request for information. And we would tell them all about what we're going to do and how much it's going to cost them, right? And we would lead with, we are certified women-owned businesses. We're going to help you meet your participation requirement, and you should do it. Well, if they say yes, we have to figure out who's going to do what, because that's big, right? You say it's big, Cassandra. Well, you do the broadcasting, I'll do the marketing. Does that make sense? I have a marketing company. I don't, just for this example, and you do the broadcasting, right? And then you said, well, oh yeah, I do that all day. I can do that. Well, I do marketing every day. I can do that, right? And build those relationships. So now we talk about what your company can do and what my company can do. See? So those are when you team together to get an opportunity.
It's amazing. Am I remembering? I feel like when you first were doing all of this, there was something about socks. Wasn't there like a contract that you're like, they're paying this much for socks or something
Yeah,
like that?
the Bureau of Prisons was looking for someone to sell them white socks. You have a good memory. And
It was just,
man,
but it was one of those like, huh.
yeah, they were buying socks. And I'm telling you, that is not what God told me to do. But I was sure trying to sell these socks. And I'm like, this is not what I'm supposed to do. But they buy socks, they buy toe separators, they buy everything. They buy glasses, eyeglasses, right? They buy everything.
Did you say toe separators like at
Yeah,
the
because they teach
pedicure place?
Yeah, they teach cosmetology in prison.
Oh my
Yeah, they
goodness.
do. They teach it. So they buy toe separators. They buy all kinds of stuff. They buy a lot of car parts. They buy a lot of automotive parts. A lot of them. They buy even things that ice. NASCAR every sport participates, but NASCAR has the longest tailgating. Tailgate starts on Wednesday. One of the things they run out of is ice. Who wants, I don't drink beer, but who wants hot beer? So they buy a lot of ice.
Amazing. I can't. It's like, yeah. So I guess if you use it, they use it in a way. So truly interesting to revisit this with you, because we get busy, right? We do our own thing. We get focused on our little stuff, and recognizing that this is a huge, huge opportunity. So how does somebody do that with you? So tell us who you are. Tell us your company, and what if somebody is like, I need to get more information about that. How do they do that?
So the company is Genesis Preferred Solutions. Our website is www.genesispreferred.com. Basically, we do all of the auditing of your documents for you. We do everything, basically. All you have to do is send us documents. So you have to prove that you were born a woman or a minority. You have to prove that you're a resident of that state, right? You have to prove that you're in business, right? And then there's some other documents to prove that you're the owner of the company. Remember that 51% or more. We have to look over all your corporate documents, your tax returns is always 3 years personal. And they just want to make sure, they're not going to report you to the IRS. They just want to make sure that you're a good tax-paying citizen, right? That you're obeying the laws of the land. And so once we get all that, you complete your application. We prepare it for you. You sign it. Then we create your own portal with the government. We upload everything to them, and then we talk to them for you. You don't have to do anything else. You let us do everything. And then once you get your certifications, we'll send them to you. We'll tell you, hey, now you need to get listed so you can receive email bid solicitation. Like I'm just telling you on SAM, every city, every city office, county, state, school district, college, university has their own registration portal. And that's where things get a little quirky because that's a lot of work. Now that's a lot of work, not the certification part. It's the getting registered, because even if the city of Fort Worth or anybody had an opportunity, I said, oh, Charla, I printed this out for you and you should look at it. Well, if you're not a registered vendor with them, you can't even bid. So that's one of the things we offer, which is step 2, is to get you registered with those entities and Fortune 500 companies. So you can receive your own bid solicitations, right? So you can now bid if that's what you want to do, or go in and talk to them about the low-hanging fruit under 25,000. So now we can bid for some of our clients that's only on professional services, but that's how we do it. We've been very successful. We have a few people that white label our services because we're nationwide. We're not just here in Texas. And we love it. It's just looking at reading paperwork all day, Charla. It's not pretty, it's reading paper, reading words on paper all day long.
Who's your
And making,
competition? I mean, who else does what you do? Is there,
so there are a couple of people that do minority and women-owned business certifications, but they don't do all of them because there's different agencies that do different certifications. So in Texas, we have our state certifying agencies, which there are 5 in the state of Texas. And then we have the Department of Transportation, our Tex dot here, or in any state is your Department of Transportation. That's for disadvantaged business. And then we have HUB, which is the Texas Comptroller. So normally my competitors, they only do one agency, right? Because that's all they know to do. Well, we can do all of them. So we want you to find opportunities, whether it's with a county office. So HUB is for county office, school districts, colleges, and universities, which I think are the easiest opportunities. So we're going to make sure you have that HUB. Disadvantaged business in any state is statewide, but those are larger contracts long-term. So we'll do that one too. And then our minority and woman-owned is with your state certifying agencies, right? And we do those too. So there's normally 3 or 4 different agencies involved with 3 or 4 different applications. But because we've been doing this for so long, we're just going to ask you to send the documents. How many do you want? I want them all, but if you say I can't afford all of them, how many do you want? And then we know which documents go to which agency.
So there's a fee for each registration, or how does the fee structure work?
It's a fee for each certification that you want. So we don't do one. We're going to either do 2 or all. Those are your choices with us. It doesn't make sense. It's too much paperwork just to do one. I just want woman-owned. Why? You're missing out with all this other stuff, right? But we charge, and then we charge to register your business. We'll register you with 60 entities. So you can receive email bid solicitation. We'll do 60 at a time. I think if your first 60, you're good. Trust me, you're good. And we charge a fee for that because that one is very time consuming. It's a 3-step process.
Wow, it's a lot. You've come a long way too, man. You were teaching and you taught me a lot back in the day of just
that business basics one-on-one workshop.
Yeah.
Do you know I have a contract still to do that same exact workshop I've been teaching that since 2006. And
Wow.
it's the exact same PowerPoint. I tell the exact same jokes. It is so funny. And they're like, nope, we want and when I change one slide in PowerPoint, they know, oh, something's missing. You're like, are you kidding? And so every first Saturday in the year, you'll see me. Well, I'm already booked the entire month of January. I'm doing that workshop 6 times because I have contracts with the cities. And I'm doing that exact same workshop almost every Saturday in the month of January, and a couple of times during the week. I think it's on a Tuesday night.
Wow.
So yeah, I still do that one. Same jokes, Charla.
Oh, really?
Same exact jokes, same examples.
So
Hasn't
can
changed.
I ask you how, when you're creating something, you get something, you want something that people remember, right? So do people still connect you to loving cake?
Oh my God, I love cake. I went to California and brought back 24 poppers. Yeah, I eat cake every day. I mean, you guys, to be honest, I just take like 1 forkful and I'm done, right? And then I'll save it and put my name on it, eat it or die. So I still eat cake every day, and people know me from cake, and I do love cake.
It was almost like a little marketing, or
It still is.
it's like me wearing this little guy. I always have one of these on because it is so convenient, and this is
That's you.
yeah. And so it's almost like a trademark in a way, and it's not registered, anything like that, but people remember
That
certain
you always
things
have your
about you.
sunglasses through that hoop. Yeah. Same thing with cake. People know I love cake. Cake causes world peace. Still eat cake every day. Right. I went home for lunch today and I'm like, oh, I got 2 little cake poppers left from Los Angeles, and I'm going to wait till I come home tonight.
So this is great. I think it's a very interesting and a little complicated, unless someone has, I mean, if I just wanted to go out and there start doing it, it would be like, where do you start? So you're offering a great service, a great convenience, and possibly a great reward on the back side of that. They find you at genesispreferredsolutions.com,
genesispreferred.com.
genesispreferred.com,
Uh-huh.
and Cassandra at Genesis Preferred if they need an email.
And our phone number is 1-800-718-2425.
Okay. And it's Dr. Cassandra Bradford. We've got a doctorate here. Doctor of what? What do we have a doctor of?
It's in relationship counseling. It's in psychology. I don't do relationship counseling, but being in business is building relationships. So the South we are relational states. The South, right? Southern part of the United States, the South, relational states. So California, New York, Chicago, those are transactional states. So you got to know where you are. And here we have the freedoms of really talking about things that we love, our spiritual self that collide with our personal self, that collides with our mission, our vision, and everything else we got going on for ourselves. And we are unapologetic for it. But when I travel to states like New York and California or Chicago or Virginia, those are transactional states. So they don't mix business and religion. But then again, I'm older. So, I think I have my past. I'll be in the 60 club next year. So I will have my past to say, listen, hey, it's just who I am. It came out. I love God. So here it is. So, but we build relationships here, and we do business based on those relationships. And we don't have consumer rights here. So it has to be built on relationships because we have no protective agencies. Those other states, transactional states, do. They have consumer right advocacy groups and organizations that you can report a company to if they didn't do right for you. Like California has the Bureau of Automotive Repair that helps women that have been taken advantage of by automotive shops and body shops. So you look at that kind of stuff and you're like, oh my God, you guys have it made. No one's ever going to take advantage of you. Well, we don't have those things in the South. So we have to go by our gut feeling. When we are meeting people to do business or to transact, We are using our gut feeling to say, hey, I pray they do what they say they're going to do, because we don't have consumer rights here.
Honestly, I believe in the win-win. If we just do the right thing with integrity and of course love people and the harder they are to love, the more they need it. But if we can just remember that we can go home and go to sleep at night if we're not taking advantage and trying to find an edge or an agenda. That's my message typically,
Well, I wish that we can live in that world, but there's two sides to every fence.
I get it. I get it. That's why I'm
And
like,
I'm with you. So when I meet you and I love that tube of lipstick, and you say that it's cruelty free and it's animal free and it's going to make your lips look beautiful, I'm like, I want it. And then I get it home and it doesn't have, it's got all kind of animal fat and everything in it. When you put on, we were talking about our glasses earlier. We put on our glasses, we're like, wait a minute, this tastes like bacon, right?
that's
And
the
so,
other food group in my world, just saying.
hey, I love bacon, girl. I'm in the South. But that's not what you wanted, right? So what do? We just spent $20 or $30 on a tube of lipstick, and
just do the right thing. And my mama said, leave the world a better place. I
I
believe
wish we can
she
do that.
certainly did. And I believe that if we just do that, if we just love people exactly who and where they are, love them through these unsteady times, and knowing that the harder they are to love, the more they need it, we can shield ourselves from being upset all the time, because upset draws upset.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, this has been amazing. Here it goes so fast. Our time goes so fast. If often, sometimes, not often, but occasionally I have a guest. And if there's anyone that wants to continue this conversation, if you have a question for Dr. Cassandra, what if you put it in the chat? And we can just maybe answer the question or comments if you have anything you want to say. And let's just see if there's anything out there that somebody wants to bring up. And if not, we were going to have to just call it a day. Find Dr. Cassandra at genesispreferred.com.
Mm-hmm.
And there is something in the chat. Let's see, what's that?
I just put that in there and put all of my information in there.
Oh, good. Okay, that was good.
My email address is Cassandra@genesispreferred.com. The number is 1-800-718-2425. And our website is www.genesispreferred.com. I'm on all social media platforms. So if you have any questions, we would love to be able to explain this whole program and process for you. We've been doing it a long time and we love it. It's so we can get opportunities.
And you make it sound simpler than it probably is.
I make it sound fun. Government is boring. We're afraid of the government. Let's be honest.
Well, they're kind of a slow, it's kind of they're so big, it's so big, it's so encompassing, and it's almost like who's doing what. They don't seem to know what the right hand is doing.
Don't talk the left hand is snitching on you. That's the only time the computers talk to each other, unless they're snitching on you. So, but yeah, the government's scary, especially when certain alphabets sit together in church, like FBI, IRS, DEA, CIA. When those alphabets sit together in church, we get worried. But the government, this part of the government, they want to do business with you. Somebody's got to do the work. It should be us.
Well, I love that. I love that we have the opportunity, the small,
the teeny tiny little
businesses have an opportunity to move forward with all that. So I'm grateful. If you are here listening to this at any time in the future, we'll be out on podcasts in a couple weeks on all over the place. So please continue to watch the Charla Anderson Show, collector and connector of fascinating people, and everyone is fascinating. So we'll be here every Wednesday live, 1:00 p.m. Central Time, and on winwinwomen.tv. So thank you for joining us. Thank you for paying attention. Thank you for listening. I am always so honored and humbled and grateful for anyone who does. And thank you so much, Dr. Cassandra, for just taking your time and joining me here today. And as I always say, I appreciate you so much coming, and don't forget to choose joy.
Parting is such sweet sorrow. The Charla Anderson Show, encouraging you to stand strong and courageous with bold faith, no fear, immense hope, kindness, and love, especially towards yourself. Visit charlaanderson.com for replays, blogs, and more on her ever-expanding website, as well as watch her live TV show on winwinwomen.tv, Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. And so that we can continue learning together and growing this community of beautiful souls, we invite you to share the Charla Anderson Show with your circle of friends. Until we meet again next week, remember always, choose joy.